Okay, boys and girls, without further ado, I want to do a review on my Beauty and the Beast Browning BLR lightweight Chamberlain 358 Winchester. This is the one that thumped the door last Saturday. As a boy growing up in California, I spent countless hours after school sitting in front of TV watching all the reruns of Bonanza, Wild Wild West, Gunsmoke, Lone Ranger, and countless Western movies. I was very fond of lever action rifle.
The Rifleman.
And in my freshman in high school, my dad wanted to buy me something special. And he knew I loved his Browning BAR Chamberlain 30-06. So he took me to local gun shop and he bought me Remington 3400 Chamberlain 30-06. That's also semi-automatic. But as I was walking to the gun shop, I saw in their window case they had a Winchester Model 94. And it was a beautiful rifle. And I knew I had to get it someday. So after my junior year, I worked all summer, working for less than $3 an hour just to get my Winchester 94. And when I finally got my Winchester Model 94 big bore Chamberlain 375 Winchester, I mean, that thing was beautiful and it was just perfect in my hand. And when I first saw that 375 ammunition, I mean, this thing looked like a cannon and I was so happy with it. Yes, I was in love. First time I shot it was at beer bottle, about 20 yards away, maybe a little less. And when I pulled my trigger, I saw that bottle just shatter, just disappear. And when I looked at it, the bottom of the bottle was still sitting on the wooden block. And it was truly an awesome experience. I shot my first blacktail buck with that rifle, and I still have the mount, which I made it myself. It doesn't look much, but this is my most prized buck, my first buck ever. Then I went off to college. And after sophomore in college, life got really busy. My dad was really busy with his business, and I was busy with medical school, and after medical school, busy with training and also my practice. So I stopped hunting or shooting. But the biggest mistake that I made as a young kid in college was that I sold both of my rifles because I needed some extra money. And honestly, I don't even remember why I needed the money. Then about 25 years later, in early 2000, I decided that I want to go back to hunting and fishing, which I missed so much. Then I started buying my rifles. I bought Browning BAR and I also bought Remington 7400, but I couldn't find Winchester Model 94. And I found out that they discontinued some years ago. I couldn't understand why Winchester would discontinue such an awesome rifle. But anyway, I couldn't find it, so I had lovesick. Then a few years went by, and I was at a Dallas Expo gun show in Northern Virginia, and something caught my eye. It was a beautiful rifle. I could have swore it was Winchester Model 94. But when I walked up to it, the gentleman told me that it was Browning BLR. And for some reason, I never thought the Browning would make a high quality lever action rifle. So I never looked into it. But when I held the rifle in my hand, it felt better than Winchester 94 that I remember. And when I worked the action, I thought it was broke. It was so easy, I thought something came apart inside. So I had to have it. And I knew this was a perfect medicine for my lovesick for Winchester Model 94. First time I took my BAR on hunting was in the afternoon hunt. Walking into my certain tree stand, I had to pass through some of the bedding area. And sometimes I bust deers doing it. So that's why I took my BAR. And on my way in, sure enough, I busted the doe. She ran and she stopped about 20 yards. So I had her on my open sight, and when I pulled the trigger, I could have swore she flipped. And she fell and never got back up again. And when I got there, there was humongous exit hole. And I knew my lovesick was cured. I don't want to sound weird, but to me, this Browning BAR is very, very sexy. But don't let the look fool you because she's a beast when it comes to hunting. So she's like a Beauty and the Beast in one package. Alright, enough of my love story. Let's get on with the review. First thing that I noticed about this rifle was how beautiful it was. If you look at the walnut stock, it's very dark and it's got a very nice high gloss finish on it. And if you look at the checkering, they're very well detailed on the grip and also on the forend. Now, the blue finish has been polished really well, so they're just a very shiny gun. Now, one thing that I'm disappointed is that it did not come with sling swivel studs on the rifle. So that was big disappointment for me. Next thing that I noticed when I held it was how light this rifle was and how well balanced it was. This rifle only weighs 6 pounds and 8 ounces. This rifle comes with aircraft grade aluminum receiver, which is light but very strong, and also came drilled and tapped for the scope mount. The recoil pad is beautifully fitted and is somewhat soft but not too soft. Came with 20-inch barrel with open sight, and if you look at it very carefully, in the front sight it's got a golden plated dot. Now, one thing that I was completely sold on this rifle is that how smooth this lever action is. I mean, you really have to try to see how smooth that is. Now, the reason being is that Browning BLR has a very unique system called rack and pinion. And if you look at it very carefully, there's a gear that goes all the way through the bolt. And on this end of the level, there's also gear here. So they just run on each other. And this 6-lug bolt is very heavy and it locks into the barrel extension just like a semi-automatic rifles. And this allows it to be able to chamber Magnum calibers as well. Now, another thing unique about this rifle is that when you work the level, the trigger travels with the level. Now, at first I thought this was really kind of awkward and I was afraid I might break something when if I work it too fast. But I quickly learned to trust this system. Now, this actually prevents your finger getting caught when you're working the action, especially when you have your glove. So there is no chance of having your finger caught working the action or accidentally firing it as well. For the cosmetic reason, they have gold-plated trigger and also the logo. I think it's nice. Now, the trigger is set at 4.5 pounds. And I'm a little disappointed at the trigger because it does have a little bit of drag and then it breaks pretty clean. I don't understand why they couldn't make the trigger better because my CVA muzzleloader has a better trigger than this. This rifle comes with detachable box magazine, not like the traditional tubular magazine. And this allows it to use a pointed bullet so you could chamber in different calibers as well. Now, I was pleasantly surprised how easy this magazine just drops out. And putting it back in is that easy. Now, I'm used to kind of slamming it in and kind of pulling it out. But with this, you don't have to worry about that at all. Now, this magazine is the easiest fitting magazine that I've ever seen. Now, this fits so easy, you could fit it with one hand. And this magazine holds 4, and you could have one in the chamber, so that makes it 5. I put a weaver see-through scope mount so we could see the open sight below, and I put on a loophole 3x9 and 40mm scope on it, and I think I paid even less than $200 for the scope, and for the mount was only like $16, but this was the only one that I could find that fits Browning BLR. I bought this at Midway USA and also scope at the Midway USA. Now, this rifle does not have any safety button, but this has a half cock where you could cock it in halfway and just walk around in the woods, and when you see the deer you could go to the full cock. Now, this doesn't make sense to me. I'd rather just have it down all the way because this half cock is so small gap, it doesn't really make a big difference whether you have it all the way down or half cock. So I'd rather just go around with hammer down all the way. Now, another safety feature this has is that you could push the handle forward. And if you look at it very carefully, by doing this, you will not hit the pin. But this only works in a half cock. That doesn't make sense to me because half cock is already in safety. Now, if this works in full cock, I could understand. But if you push this forward and pull the trigger, and you will see you will hit the pin. So this doesn't make any sense to me. But nevertheless, I do feel comfortable or safe walking in the woods with a round chambered and hammered down, just like my muzzle loader. This rifle MSRP is $960, but I've seen them selling this at Buzz Gun Shop for $850. And nowadays they have a cheaper version with a Monte Carlo stock, but the woods look a lot cheaper. But those are going for about $688. I think I paid this probably close to about $800. I forgot how much I paid for it. And then I put a scope on it and the mount. So this rifle cost me close to about $1,000. In this rifle, I'm shooting Honore Custom 350 Winchester 200 grain, and this shoots really well. It's very accurate, very hard hitting, and believe it or not, this is most reasonable priced ammunition out there. So whenever they're on sale, I just buy like 5 boxes and I just keep stacking them. So as you can see, I'll be good for quite a while. Now this is one level action rifle that I know I could work level without lowering my rifle. This is really fast for the quick follow shots. Now let's go and see what she can do on the papers. Okay, today is January 11th and we finally got some break in the weather. Now it is 45 degrees outside and I'm at the range. And it's a very calm day. Hopefully I could shoot well today. Come here with Browning BLR. And I'm going to be shooting at 25 yards with open sight. Let's see how she does. With my aging, I'm not too good with open sight, but let's see how she does. Okay, that's not bad. Here goes the second shot. That's almost a bullseye. Okay, here goes the third shot.
It's interesting, you know, it's over 100 years old, and now there's like 6 companies making it.
That's tight. Okay, I'm gonna go for the fourth shot because the first shot I wasn't too sure what the border was open side, and I know where it is. So there goes the third shot. And the fourth shot. Yeah, 3 shots all touching each other. This is 25 yards with an open sight with my BLR. Now the first shot, I wasn't sure where the iron sight was at, but the second, third, and fourth shot is the legit 3-shot grove. And that's pretty good. That is not a flyer. That was my first shot. I just wasn't sure how I lined my front sight to my rear sight. So after shooting that, I knew where it was at. So that was my second shot, and that was my third shot, and that was my fourth shot. So this is actually the legit 3-shot group. And if you look at it, it is just a little bit over ½ inch. It's between ½ inch and 3/4 inch. Okay, now take it out to 75 and let's see how she does at 75. Okay, here's the first shot at 75 yards. That's how she does. This is the left low target. It's a little windy. See the target shaking.
There's no reason to, you know, for me, a little 4-power scope on it.
Okay, I can't make an adjustment. This shot was pretty good, so I'm gonna go for the second shot. 75-yard target with BLR, and that right there was the first 3-shot group, and then I made the adjustment and it hit there. That was my first shot, second, third, and then I made an adjustment. I did 3 clicks to the right, and that's where it went in. And if you look at it, that's just right about 1/2 inch. So that's pretty good. And I was trying to go for the second 3-shot group, but then range officer called the ceasefire, and it was 1 p.m. already. And I know my wife was waiting for me to have lunch with me, so I had to call it a day. Came home. So this is what I got for you. Now, do I still miss my Winchester Model 94? Yes, I do. Will I trade this for a Winchester Model 94? No. This is my baby. Now this is my choice of rifle in early season, where we still have a lot of leaves and brushes, where I need to get on the deer really quick. And the shooting distance is always under 80. And for that reason, I have the open sight sighted in at 25 yards, and I have a scope sighted in at 75 yards. And this is also a choice of rifle when I'm walking into my stand in the afternoon, where there's a chance I might bust a deer and I need to get onto them really quick. And lastly, like always, thank God for what you have, enjoy your life with what you got, but mostly stay safe. See ya.